Hi, I'm Jonathan Ayest, and this is Psychology of Improvising. Okay, so this morning I'm going to be talking about fugues, and I really wanted to make a fugue. I really want to make a video to make fugues more accessible. We're talking about improvising a fugue, which normally is presented as a very scary, elevated topic. But I think it's possible. Okay, it's difficult, but every step of the way is really nice work. Basically, a fugue is a formula for making a lot of music out of one little theme using certain techniques. I got hold of this book, 500 Fugue Subjects and Answers, Ancient and Modern, and I use this book a lot because it gives me a whole variety of fugue subjects, all different, and each subject in a way pushes you to make different kinds of music. If it's a minor subject or a major subject, if it's one with long notes or little notes, some are obviously written for keyboards and like harpsichords, and others are more suitable for piano. Some are great for the organ. Pretty much everything can be played on the organ. So this morning I've chosen a theme which I used in a concert in Torres Vedras in Portugal, a very nice little festival. I chose the theme on the day then from the book and did what I could with it then. I'm now going to take it apart and show you some of the techniques and some of the ways that I go about preparing a fugue. Okay, so I'm taking my theme here from Sala, which is a nice long theme in G minor. Now I have to make a link to the next bit of given material, which is the answer. The answer comes at the fifth, which means the same theme is going to come exactly the same. But because that's a bit high, the answer now comes here. So when the answer comes in on the D, I have to improvise another line which goes in consonant intervals. Good. So what I'm looking to do is make consonant intervals which work also harmonically. Now, if we take our first theme again, I can make a harmony . And the harmony helps me to understand in a way what the theme is about. When I hear the theme, the theme already suggests certain harmonies, and I try and catch those harmonies in the counterpoint. So the counterpoint has to work harmonically. I can't, if I start making, these are constant intervals, but they've come out of the key, so it doesn't really work harmonically. But to construct the counterpoint is basically experimenting within consonant intervals until you find ones that fit, and the rest comes with experience, I think. So if we take out the theme as the subject, these are the thirds. I use a lot of thirds and sixths. So all the consonant intervals are basically unison, fifth, octaves, thirds and sixths. Fifths and octaves are pretty strong. So if we use a fifth there, again it's brought us out of the key, so that wouldn't work. Starting on a unison, the key is very strong. There we have a sixth. So the sixth thirds and sixths are usually pretty safe bets. Could also use the octave here. But if I keep using the octave, in a way it doesn't seem so contrapuntal, is too many unisons. So going back to how we construct the whole thing in a row, we have to go from subject to answer to subject to answer, usually in different registers. So if my fugue starts here, in the subject here, as like the soprano, Sal is given the answer is coming in the alto, which means that the next entrance will be the subject probably in the tenor down here, and then finally we're going to have the bass, which will work down here, or it could be on the pedals on this organ. This organ has pedals. In between each of those entrances I have to make something that links. So if my subject finishes here, then it finishes on G, I have to make a link there. And then that means that the alto can come in on the D. And when those two voices are finished, I finish on a chord of D. If I have to get to G minor, it's quite easy because the chord of D works as a dominant for the tonic. And so on and so forth. So always have to make these linking passages in either one voice, two voices, or three voices. And this is not as complicated as it seems. It's just a question of saying, right, this is now the task. I'm here and I have to get from the dominant to the tonic, or from the tonic back to the dominant. And you can be quite free. This is the genre of improvised fugue. So you can be quite free as to how you do it. If I finish here, I make material just in G minor, and here I go, okay, this is to do with the dominant chord, so I can bring in my next theme. So I find that it's these tasks in a row, if you like. First of all is to focus on making up material that goes with the given subjects and answers. And that's why I say it's such a delight to do this, because you get given this material and it's so nice to make up little themes and lines that go with that, and they can be endlessly inventive. Yes, it has to fit and have to make sense harmonically, but these can be stretched quite a lot, particularly in these nice themes by Sala, which have lots of sequences. Once the fugue is up and running, it's possible to use different harmonizations, one which are more exploratory. You can start going to using the major chords of G minor, which are these kind of chords, so that you can get back to your key, but it shows the theme in a different light. And these don't need to be thought of in a very theoretical way. There is a bit of theory involved, but just as a natural expansion and exploration of the theme. And then if you feel stuck, or you don't really understand what you're doing, or it doesn't seem to make sense, go back to simple consonant intervals and simple harmonizations, because it's those two elements, the vertical harmony and the horizontal counterpoint, which in a way need to become absorbed, and these become in a way the tools of making the fugue. And then I think it's really, at least at the beginning of the fugue, organizing your task. You say, right, first voice, subject, I play that to the end. Now I have to link in one voice to the answer. At this point, now I have to focus on making up a material that goes with the answer. And at this point, I have two voices, and the two voices link back to the subject. And now I'm making up two voices that go with the theme now in the tenor. And when that comes to the end, I'm making up material in three voices which link back to the tonic. And I can be quite free about this. At this point, for example, I can draw out the link. Until the next entrance of the fugue comes in, and it's really nice to explore with those freedoms. You know, it's you don't have to link straight away back into the theme or straight away back into the answer. You can start using your fantasy and making up longer passages which go off into different keys and think, oh, okay, how can I delay this? And then when the theme comes back, it's a nice event. But it's not really strict or fixed, or it's nice not to think of it as a really difficult task, but as a very natural musical making task, making music out of this given theme, adding your own music, and it's a nice tight structure which people recognize and enjoy, but it's also very creative and very inventive.